tuck the kids in bed and set the volume low because the following program contains violence, graphic language, and suggestive content. Brandon and Skyler will bounce, slap, and innuendo their way like a 1980s Skinamax flick from the world of adult animation and into the Video Vault.
Hello!
Howdy.
Welcome to the Video Vault. We are your hosts,
Brandon
and Skyler.
Yeah.
And today on the Video Vault, we are going to introduce a new segment. Because we're recording 2 episodes back to back, we don't have any more comments to read.
Yeah.
So, today we've come up with a segment called
Cool Internet Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh,
Cool,
shit. I thought you were going to say it at the same time.
I'm sorry. Cool Internet Shit. The PG version is Cool Internet Stuff, or CIS.
Yeah. Were we supposed to say CIS first?
I don't know.
Oh, well.
I wasn't trying to introduce it. But anyway, last week we did a little bit where we talked about what food mascots we could beat up.
Yeah.
And now because we don't have any comments, we were like, well, what could we do? So we're going to scroll through some Reddit posts.
Yeah.
And answer some Ask Reddit questions, because some of these can be pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So
we found some pretty good ones, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Welcome to Cool Internet Shit.
Yeah.
We need to get like a Sonic the Hedgehog voice actor, like, Cool Internet Shit. You know? Somebody
who sounds like Sonic saying that. Oh my God.
Gotta go fast. Gotta scroll fast. Okay. You can choose to be 100% smarter, 100% stronger, 100% faster, or 100% more attractive. Which one do you choose and why? So I choose faster. I think I just want to have a better work ethic.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier when you brought this up. Like, does being 100% smarter make me 100% smarter than my current self? Or
yeah. Okay, so there's actually a question that popped up one time that was like, would you rather dumb everyone down so that you're the smartest person on the planet, or smarten everyone up so you're the dumbest person on the planet?
Man, this is like Idiocracy.
A little bit, yeah. Because if you dumb everyone down,
mm-hmm.
you know, then the person who's the dumbest from you becomes super dumb.
Yeah.
They become really, really stupid.
No, I wouldn't want that.
Yeah, I would rather be the dumbest person on the planet so that everyone else is so that I know that everyone else is at least as smart as I am. You know, everyone I'm talking to has the same intelligence as me, right? Or better, you know?
This is how I already live daily.
I'd rather live in that world than a world where I'm the one, because then if you're astrophysicists and people who design vaccines and all those things, then they're gone. They won't be able to do that anymore.
Yeah. It would be Idiocracy.
Yeah,
That'd be bad.
And we would all be Luke Wilson.
Yeah. I like knowing that I'm dumb, so that's nice.
Yeah,
I'll just keep it at that. Yeah. It's humbling. Yeah, I know that 100% smarter me would probably just not be that much smarter.
Yeah,
So faster's probably the best one.
Faster's probably the best. I mean, stronger would be great.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I wish I could be 100% healthier. I would just like to be healthy with and then do whatever I want, no repercussions.
Yeah, me too. That'd be fun.
Yeah. That certainly would be what I would want, but I think faster, because then you can just you just do everything. You could you know.
Are they talking about super speed here, or just 100% faster than your regular?
But what does that mean? If it's just 100% faster than the fastest I can be now. Is that is that you're multiplying how fast I am now
by 100?
Well, not by 100, by by 2. Now I'm
oh yeah,
I'm
yeah, right,
that much faster twice over.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Or is it that much faster like 100 times.
Because if it's 100 times, like maximum human speed, like Usain Bolt speed.
Yeah, or even a bit faster. Because I'm also thinking, like, because then I could write things faster. I could think faster. I could, like, where does it stop? Where does the fastness end?
This is a very broad question.
Yeah, it is. It's a little maddening.
I just know for sure that double power me would be efficient. Mm-hmm. More efficient than single power me. Mm-hmm. But I know that there would be people more efficient if they had that power. Maybe I'm just putting myself down too much here. Too much cartoons. Oh, yeah. What's another question? What's another cool internet?
Cool internet shit.
More cool.
It's tough. There's a lot of questions. I'll just rattle some off. We'll see which ones we like.
What we work on.
Top all-time Ask Reddit. Jeez, that's crazy.
Visiting Ask Reddit today.
People who haven't pooped in 2019 yet. Why are you still holding on to last year's shit?
Why are you...
Oh, man, that user was removed.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. That's really good.
That's like... How's that even a question? That's more
good.
of just like a...
It's just a joke.
Good joke.
Yeah, that was really good. That was good. Would you watch a show where billionaire CEO user TX Horns 1330 says or asks, would you watch a show where a billionaire CEO has to go an entire month on the lowest paid employee's salary without access to any other resources than that of the employee? What do you think would happen? Yes, I would watch that show, and I think it'd be pretty entertaining. I mean, I don't know, like what. So, like, if you're the CEO of, say, like, I don't know, what's like a good company like Subway, like, then you're just making sandwiches, and then you go home and you have like no money.
I would love to watch Target CEOs suffer the way I did when I worked at Target. I would pay to watch it. I would want to see them live.
That's
like
the
me
thing, like
for a week.
What the jobs with like customer service, you know, the CEO probably almost never had to deal with that, right? So like.
Probably never have, never will.
So that would just be such an amazing thing.
Never had a normal
Imagine
job.
like a CEO, the CEO of like a department store.
Oh,
and then it's like a challenge. You do it like a reality show with like a challenge where it's like today's challenge. We hired 75 Karens to come into the store today, and we've made it so that half the employees are gone or whatever. Like it's like a they expected it to be a slow day, so they told half the people to take the day.
Everybody called it.
Yeah, everybody called in, so now the CEO is like the only one working the floor.
I would love to watch this.
That would be incredible.
Black Friday scenario.
Oh my god, dude, that'd be awesome.
Make them stay up all night.
That'd be pretty good.
Oh yeah, it would be great.
Oh man. I think they said Target and Walmart aren't doing Black Friday this year.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
It literally requires a pandemic for them to stop. Bloodthirsty
bastards.
Hey,
everybody just we're figuring things out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, it wasn't good before, but
It's better.
This movie better, much better. Did you watch the Amanda Show?
Oh hell yeah! Oh yeah, I watched everything.
Oh my god, dude, Amanda Show was great.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. User Law of Noodles asks, Bill Gates said, I will always choose a lazy person to do a difficult job because a lazy person will find an easy way to do it. What's a real life example of this? Me and Brandon.
Yes. Pretty good at figuring stuff out.
Yeah, I mean.
The easy way.
I mean, we tend to like, I think if we don't do that, we tend to sit around and just be like, well, how are we going to do it? Yeah. It seems really tough. Like, it seems really complicated or whatever. But then, like, if we just do it, then we just do it. You know what I mean? Like, we just.
It's more just thinking and doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you just sit there and you think too much. And it's like, maybe if we just tried it instead of like hypothesizing, what if we did it like this? Then.
Goes for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. I can't think of a specific example of a time that we did that, though. Well, I remember a time that, like, you and I tend to be like procrastinators, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not so much that we're lazy, because I think there's a difference between being lazy and procrastinating. Because to some degree, procrastination, you're still like thinking about it. Yeah. You're just not actively doing it. Mm-hmm. So I remember one time we had to make a commercial for in high school we made commercials for the TV channel that we had at school, the Coronado Television, like the little news show.
Yeah.
And so there were these commercials because the classroom A30, building A, room 30, they sold ice cream after school. So we would always make A30 ice cream commercials. And one week, like it was Monday, and Mr. Seifert was like, "Okay, guys, I need you to make a commercial." And we were like, "Okay, yeah." And then we like didn't do it at all. And it was like Wednesday, and this thing had to be turned in on like Thursday, by the end of the day, so that they could get it into the show, because the show, airs on Friday. Mm-hmm. And so we were just like, I remember sitting in Miss Capoli's room in English, and we were just like, what? I was like, Brandon, what are we going to do? And I think you're the one who came up with like the main idea. We were just like,
I don't even know how or why.
Yeah, you're just like, what if like you go get ice cream and then you come back and I'm a skeleton, and then like the skeleton's wearing my clothes, and then that's the commercial. Like I took so long to get ice cream that you became a skeleton and died.
Oh man.
And we had English like third period.
Yeah, it was.
So that day,
like 10
like
in the morning.
So that so we like found the one teacher who had a skeleton in her classroom. At lunch, we filmed it, or at the time when she had a free period, that's when we went in and filmed it. Because I don't think it was lunchtime. I think we just we went in whenever we had the time.
Sometime.
Yeah. And then we edited it.
I think we may have asked her at lunch and then went back later that day.
Yeah.
To film it.
Yeah. And it ended up working out that like her free period was the time we had CTV. Yeah. And then we filmed it, and I'll never forget. So basically what happens in the commercial is we're standing there in the classroom and then like reading ads.
Yeah.
Like out of like a newspaper. Like we have newspapers. I don't know why. We're just standing
in a science room. Nobody else in the class.
Yeah. We're just standing there reading newspaper ads, and we're like, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna go get an ice cream. Want any? And then Brandon's like, sure. And then I'm like, okay, and I leave. And as I'm walking away, he goes, hurry back. And then like this dramatic, like sort of like violent horror movie sound effect of like boom, and the title card says 5 minutes later, like in this scary typeface. And I walk in with the 2 ice creams, and I'm like, hey, Brandon, sorry it took so long. Oh, my God. And I realized we did a Troll 2 homage because I didn't do the, oh my God. And then it cuts back to Brandon, and it's this standing skeleton.
With my hat and sunglasses.
Holding the newspaper. In the hands. I think the skeleton was a little bit posable, so its hands were out, and it's holding the paper. And it was, and then it cuts to a title card. It says,
I had a cape on, too.
Yeah, he had a cape on, and so the skeleton has a cape on. And so then it cuts to a title card that says, A30 ice cream, get some before it gets you. And I remember we finished it. We thought it was super funny. And Mr. Seifert, we're like, hey, we're done with the commercial. He's like, okay, let me see it. And so he goes over, he sits down, he plays it. He's dead silent the whole time. And it ends, and there's like a pause. And he's just kind of like,
oh man.
He's just sitting there. And then he like reaches over and hits the space bar to play it again. And then he like watches it all over again. He kind of like just sits there, and then he gets up. And he starts to walk out of the room. We were like, and he turns around and he goes, you idiots made me cry. He's laughing so hard. At the commercial.
I'm crying laughing about the story, dude.
That's so funny, dude. Oh my God.
We did it in one day.
Oh my God.
That's still one of the funniest things we've ever made.
It really is. I'm really proud of that. I love that stupid commercial. It's so funny.
So dumb.
It's more than likely that COVID-19 user Mr. Spooniversal, that's a good name.
Yeah.
It's more than likely, he asks, it's more than likely that COVID-19 will still be around at Christmas time. How are we going to explain to kids that Santa is still allowed to go into millions of homes?
He uses magic.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
Also, he can have a mask.
Fucking Santa Claus.
I'm ready. Now that I think about it, I'm ready for branding where Santa has like a red velvet mask with like the white trim
around his
face.
Yeah. Oh yeah, people are already on it probably.
They're for sure. There have already been like meetings about designs about that.
What are we doing this year? That's a simple one.
Oh, this is a nice one. User/this is Bill Gates. Hello, Bill Gates.
Hey, Bill Gates. It's actually Bill Gates.
With all the negative headlines dominating the news these days, it can be difficult to spot signs of progress. What makes you optimistic about the future? This is from 2 years ago, but I actually think like there's an interesting thing that what's his name? C. Robert Cargill said on Twitter, where he was saying that like this pandemic and like the lockdown and everything is probably a really, in some ways, it's probably a really good thing for a lot of projects in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because a lot of projects probably just like there wasn't enough time to get things going, or like people were too busy to like sit down and figure it out or whatever. But now there's a lot of projects that are going to survive that we'll be able to see.
Yeah.
You know,
even if it means going on video.
Or something. But also like this idea that a lot of cool stuff is going to have to get pushed. And so like there's just going to be a bunch of cool stuff. Like there's going to be a bunch of movies and shows and things coming out like a bunch of cool media within the next couple of years, where it's like, you know, all the stuff that got delayed or like didn't get quite finished. So like the next like 2-3 years is gonna be like jam packed with stuff, which is really cool. I think. I mean, this pandemic is horrible, and you know,
there's always a silver lining or something.
Yeah, I think like, you know, if we want to try to stay a little bit positive, this is not to say that we, you know, should ignore all the horrible things going on. But, you know, sometimes it does get a little...
Brighten up your day a little bit. Yeah.
So
keep on pushing.
So, yeah, that's a little bit of something. And I also think that, like, when this is all over and there's a vaccine and all that, people will be more...
A lot more cautious.
Yeah, but I think even more so kind and, like, ready to hang out with friends and, you know, get together and, like, go out to the movies and stuff. Like, this is horrible for a lot of businesses that need foot traffic and need people to go out. Like you can't, like, you know, movie theaters can't exist with VOD. Like you're not going to have, I mean, I guess you could, but it's not going to be the same thing if you have like Cinemark presents, you know, whatever on VOD. Like it's not the same thing.
I hate having to watch movies at home that are new.
And you know, I think it'll be great when all this is over, and I think people are going to go in droves because it's going to be like, I want to go back. I want to do those things again. I want to go to the park. I want to go to the movies. I want to, you know, go to the mall or whatever and hang out with my friends and go shopping.
Definitely
you know?
hopeful.
Yeah.
For the future.
I mean, I feel, you know.
I know that we could get past this. It's just a passing storm. We'll make it.
Oh, this is a great one. User Fozzie Bear the Muppet. Hello, Fozzie.
It's Fozzie.
Hey, you're
waka,
great. Waka. I think this might have been inspired by Cobra Kai to some degree. We were just talking about Cobra Kai last week.
Good follow-up to our last week's episode.
If instead of rebooting movies, it became a trend to retell them from a different character's perspective, what film would you want to see retold, and from whose point of view? It's a good question.
That is a great question.
Let's see.
Wow. I've seen so many damn movies. That's why I'm like, wow, this is a great question.
Yeah, this is tough. I would love to see like a time travel movie from the perspective of a side character. So for instance, like it'd be great to do like not necessarily like a Bill and Ted movie, but a movie like Bill and Ted, but you're following one of like the historical figures who just like is going about their day and then like they get
sucked into
pulled into the future and they get to see the future and then they come back and now it's like how do they live the rest of their lives knowing that they experienced like this future. That's an interesting thing about in Endgame when Steve goes back to, you know, to Peggy and everything, because it's like he lived for like a decade with the internet and like, you know.
Oh, I love that ending so much.
It's so good, dude.
Beautiful.
We got to do an Endgame episode and talk about all the stupid crap that people like lob at that movie.
We're gonna have a lot of controversial episodes.
Oh yeah,
Star Wars, Marvel, DC,
for sure.
Oh, good.
Let's see what else.
Episode 2 in Star Wars, I would like to see completely from Obi-Wan because that's the best parts.
Now, honestly, the whole not original trilogy, the whole prequel trilogy from Obi-Wan's perspective,
that would be really cool.
really cool. It'd probably be a little bit better for the storytelling. But yeah,
that'd be cool.
I'm trying to think of other movies.
It's another good one
that I don't have my shelf of Blu-rays and DVDs in here, so I can't like look at it and be like, what about that movie? Man, this is really hard.
This is tough.
I can't think of a movie.
Beetlejuice, completely from Beetlejuice's perspective.
Ooh, yeah.
That'd
so
be fun.
Then he's in the movie the whole time. Or no, from his former partner, what's her name? Who's like who's trying to work with the Maitlands.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be pretty great. Yeah, because
almost like a Beetlejuice type prequel.
Yeah, she gets the notice that they died, and she's like, okay, well, where the hell are they? Like, they haven't come in. Like, what, what's going on? Like, she's too busy working.
That'd be a cool one.
That'd be kind of a fun one.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like villains that were misunderstood.
That would be like more interesting to see the
see from their
But then
side.
like some of my favorite villains that I'm like more intrigued by their version of the story. I get like a pretty good version of it, in the movie. So
this is a tough one, but a good one.
Yeah, it's very good. User Hip Guide says Ferris Bueller, but from Cameron's perspective. I would argue the movie kind of is from Cameron's perspective.
The whole time, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some of the other comments?
Let's see.
What are people saying?
Let's see. User Wove Lead says 500 Days of Summer from Summer's perspective.
Nah. I mean, we still kind of get that.
Yeah,
too,
you still kind of get it. I think, like, because you empathize with Tom, but, it's also, at least to me, it's also pretty clear that Tom is, like, not in the right.
Yeah.
For a good chunk of the movie, for a lot of the choices he makes are not great, So I guess it might be interesting from Summer's perspective, but I don't know. User Hyde4279 says Hot Fuzz, but from the perspective of the Neighborhood Watch.
Ooh.
I'd like to see them like planning and committing the murders. That'd be like fun. Yeah.
Taking the gold guy down to the to the bodies.
In Hoover We Trusted says Frozone. Where was his super suit?
Yeah,
it's a good question.
That would have been a great short. Pixar short.
Kim Shekel asks Mean Girls, or not asks, but Mean Girls as told by Regina George. That's pretty good. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Let's see.
Batman versus Superman, except actually Batman.
Yeah.
Getting ready the whole time.
Jolly Jinx says John Wick would become a horror film.
It would, dude.
Oh man,
one man hunting down armies of armed men.
Like you're like, it's just like the random goon who's like, you're gonna have to fight John Wick, and you're like, what? So the whole movie, you like he like that'd be so funny. Like you could do a great comedy bit where like the goon keeps trying to like sign up for jobs where he knows John Wick isn't gonna be there. Where he's like, I'm gonna go with Alpha Team to the to the downtown district because they heard
that's
John Wick is going through whatever, and then he finally gets there, and then they hear on the radio like John Wick's coming up the front door, and the goon's like, oh god, I'm out of here. Like he's like the whole movie's him just trying to avoid John Wick. Oh my god,
that'd be a good one.
I can't believe they're making a fifth one.
Yeah,
I'm like, I commented this the other day. I was like, what more is there to say? Like, what's gonna happen?
I read a really cool theory that the fourth one's gonna be him going up against the high table.
That's what I think it is. That's what it seems like. Him and the hobos.
And he goes and kills a bunch of them, and then they go back to the Continental, or whatever the hell the hotel's called. Mm-hmm. And
I believe it is the Continental.
And the whole movie is just a giant shootout in the Continental.
Oh my god!
Yeah, with the rest of the table members going
like
back.
The Raid, but like John Wick. Yeah.
And then what's his name? His
Lawrence Fishburne?
No, the other fella.
Winston.
Yeah.
Winston checks out. Yeah.
Winston. Winston becomes the leader of the high table and then offers John Wick a life to finally live normal. So they'll beat the high table, the bad guys.
But then what happens in the fifth one?
That'd be the fifth one.
Oh.
Yeah, the fourth one is them.
Oh, okay. So the fourth one is them going against the high table,
leading up to the fight at the Continental.
And then the fifth one's just the fight at the Continental. Just
whole time.
Act 3 for 2 hours. I would see that. That sounds awesome. Yeah. I was gonna say I think my joke pitch, but that I was kind of like, what I kind of want to see that is he dies at the end of the fourth one, and then the fifth one is him shooting his way out of hell.
John Wick out of hell.
John Wick, bat out of hell. Yeah, that'd be pretty great.
And then 6, 7, and 8 are like a horror trilogy. He gets his dog back from hell. Oh god. He has to kill all the dudes that he killed in the first 2 movies. First 3 movies.
The first 3 movies? Yeah. No, the first 4, because it's the fifth one.
Oh yeah,
So yeah. Jesus Christ. Wow.
Nice.
That'd be an incredible that'd be awesome. He fights his way out of hell. Isn't there a video game? Isn't there a God of War game where it starts with you in the bottom of hell and then you have to like fight your way out?
I know that they did a Saints Row.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a God of War game.
I'm not sure. I never played God of War,
Yeah.
any of them. But I know that there's the Johnny Gat spinoff, or is Gat out of hell.
Oh.
Because his last name is Johnny Gat.
Yeah.
And because he dies, I think, in the 3rd game or something like that, or 4th game. I don't know when they killed him. Mm-hmm. But he goes to hell, and he fights the devil in his way back out of hell.
I'm wondering, do you think there's like there's a market for a story about characters who have to fight their way out of heaven? Because like it's always about fighting your way out of hell. But what if there's just like this horrible person who ends up in heaven? I guess this is the plot of The Good Place.
It's a mistake.
Right? It's just The Good Place. It's like this horrible person who's in heaven, and they're like, "I gotta get out of here," and they beat people up.
It'd be, I guess, more like a comedic.
Yeah, that'd be like
action
a goofy.
than an
I feel like you
action.
couldn't do a movie about that. That'd be like a sketch.
It would have to be like a comedy.
Yeah, it'd be like a comedic, like 2-minute, 3-minute thing.
I don't know how to stretch that.
Like, I don't think you could do 2.
Leave it to the producers.
Or that's like the climax of the movie, right? Like that's only the end of the movie. That's not like the whole thing. You couldn't. I could watch a whole movie of John Wick shooting his way out of hell, but I couldn't watch a whole movie of like,
Some
Tony
scumbag.
Soprano like fighting his way out of heaven. Like, like that just doesn't.
I'm gonna start a war in heaven to get back to Earth. Brilliant. It's the only way out.
Oh my god.
There had to be some kind of subplot where he like talks to like other angels, like how can we start some problems so I could use the back door out back to Earth.
So that like God kicks me out.
Yeah.
That's
so
like
he
I had
tries
kids
real
like
hard
that.
to get kicked out of heaven.
When we were doing the summer camps at the Kids and Co, the local children's theater, some parents would just sign their kids up like just to dump them off for the summer. So these kids, some of them would just be like, I don't care. I don't want to do anything.
Throw me out, please.
And like all of us, like, we were the interns. We weren't in charge. So we were just kind of like, every time you have one of those kids in your group, you would kind of be like, oh God, I hope they get out. Like, I hope they leave. Yeah. Because you don't want them to suffer. Like it's like these poor kids are just like there because they don't, even though they don't want to be. And it's like, look, I really like doing this theater thing, but if you don't want to be here, you're gonna have a bad time. Like if you don't want to be here and you're forced to be here, you're gonna hate it. So maybe that's we cracked the code on an Escape from Heaven movie.
Something like that. Yeah.
Dang.
We better get to writing.
Yeah, we should. Yeah.
If somebody listens to us, steals our idea.
Yeah. Damn it. No, but okay. Well, thank you for joining us for this week's segment of cool internet shit. Next week we'll do some more cool internet shit. I don't know what about, but we'll do something.
We'll figure it out.
But we'll leave you with a little tease. We are going to talk about adult animation today, which is a lot of fun. There's a lot of ground to cover.
A lot to go over.
So buckle in, because it's going to be a wild ride.
Hold on to your butts.
We'll be right back after this break.
Oh yeah.
This is the Video Vault with Brandon and Skyler.
Hey, welcome back to the show.
Hey everybody, we're back.
We are back inside the Video Vault, and today we are talking about adult animation. This was partly inspired because of Adult Swim canceling their long-standing
17 years.
Animated show.
Yeah.
The
Venture Bros. Go Team Venture.
And so we decided we wanted to talk about some adult animation, just like
Yeah.
in general, a little bit outside of Adult Swim, a lot of stuff inside of Adult Swim.
Our favorites.
Our favorites, yeah, that kind of thing. So, let's talk about that.
Yeah. We'll start with the Venture Bros, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. So I'm not a
man.
big Venture Bros viewer. I've seen maybe like
man.
1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell me a little bit about the Venture Bros? I know it started as a direct parody of like the Adventure Boy,
Hanna-Barbera type stuff, Johnny Quest.
Yeah, kind of thing. But I know it's sort of evolved since then.
Yeah. Oh man, created by Doc Hammer and Jackson Public 17 years ago. I think it's one of Adult Swim's longest running animated shows until as of recent. But yeah, it started as a parody.
That's for sure, because like they always are dropping shows after a couple seasons and stuff.
And there's been a lot of stuff that Adult Swim has dropped over time that has been completely buried in history, which is really sad. I've been watching Adult Swim since the very get-go. Back in 2001 as a little kid, I would stay up late. So I remember when Venture Bros first started, and it just blew up. I wasn't always up super late to watch it weekly, so I usually ended up renting the DVDs from Hollywood Video. And I would always talk about it in high school with Carlos. But like we were talking about earlier before we started recording, the turnaround on Venture Bros was always super, super long.
Yeah.
I think at one point we waited 4 years for another season.
Yeah.
It's nuts. But the animation's just super unique, and it started, like we were saying, as a Johnny Quest parody. People just fell in love with these goofy characters, and then they started putting in people like David Bowie in the show and Iggy Pop. And
wow.
Yeah, it wasn't voiced by them, but
yeah. But I mean, like
So these characters were introduced to this hyper unrealistic world where superheroes and hyper villains are allowed to coexist and have nemesis, and there's the League of Extraneous Intent, where all the supervillains are part of, and it's also kind of an anachronistic show because there's modern technology in it, but it's very much set like in the 60s or 70s, the way Johnny Quest.
So it's got that like Incredibles kind of vibe where you have like the way they described it on. Excuse me, the way they described it on that project is like the future as seen from the perspective of the 60s.
Right.
So it has all that like 60s
fantastical
modern like architecture kind of stuff and look to it and style and design. But then like you have like supercomputers and like flying cars and things. Yeah.
And of course it follows the Venture family, the Venture Bros, and their father Rusty Venture and their bodyguard Brock Sampson, voiced by Patrick Warburton.
Yeah.
So and their nemesis is the Monarch and his girlfriend, Dr. Girlfriend.
I love Dr. Girlfriend.
Yeah, I love
the little I've seen of Venture Bros. I love Dr.
The most
Girlfriend.
awkward, hot cartoon character. But like as time went on, each character had an arc. Everybody, the brothers, the Monarch's arc, Brock, Rusty Venture, everybody's arc was just really, really awesome. And we were going up to I haven't seen season 7 yet, but season 7 introduces a lot of stuff, and these characters have grown over the years. The boys have gotten older; they're not young teenagers anymore, and they started up until like season 5 and 6. That's when people started dying, and it got real serious, turned into like a real serious arc. Where it was still hilarious, but it was one of the most I think thought out shows ever, especially in the animation category, because we had people like I don't want to spoil anything, but people would get cancer and die. It's like, whoa, holy crap, this is like, so as fantastical as the world was, a lot of the characters still had to face real life and real world consequences, which was like kind of the downfall for a lot of people who died, which is really sad. And then why some of the characters get ultimate arcs, and you feel sorry for people like the Monarch. It's really cool. Great show, and I'm hoping that there's the talks of HBO picking it up.
Yeah.
So
that was the big thing I saw. Was a lot of people saying.
Yeah, a lot of people are publishing articles, and
yeah.
Oh man, I just really hope it gets saved. To me, it's the greatest cartoon possibly ever made.
I can see that.
But there's so much great Adult Swim shows, man.
There are. You reminded me as we were talking about shows that sort of didn't get their due. And one of the ones that like cracks me up is Frankenhole.
Oh man, yeah.
And Frankenhole was like so funny and like, but I can see why it had a difficult time finding an audience because some of the humor in there is like really,
yeah.
It is really not.
It's a lot of the adult animated shows too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they like to play with different audiences.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like a big swing and a miss, but they swung real big. They were aiming for a home run.
There was a lot of stuff on Adult Swim that I feel like Frankenhole did get a decent lifespan though.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I think it could have gone on longer, but that was like that show. Just watching it, I'm like, I don't want to animate that. That looks like a nightmare to animate. Because it's all like paper puppets, like finely detailed.
Yeah. I remember seeing the paper animation when it first came out. I was like appalled by it.
Wow.
Between that and Moral Oral, the animation was just out of this world. I think it was the same creators.
Moral Oral was the other one I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Because Moral Oral, also very kind of messed up, but like so just like well done. And like, I remember our friend Carlos told me about Moral Oral, and I started watching it, and it was the kind of show that like, at the time in high school, it was the kind of thing where I was like, wow, like I was like, I'm glad I didn't watch this when I was younger, because that would have messed me up. But I'm glad I'm watching it now because now I can like appreciate it for like the artistic intent. Whereas if I was a kid, I just would have been like, what? Oh my god!
I think that was my initial reaction for Moral Oral when I was watching it as a kid when it first came out because I was confused.
It just feels so like inappropriate.
Yeah.
And not in like I don't know. It's difficult to describe the feeling I get watching it because it's like as a kid, the show doesn't necessarily have any explicit visuals or anything.
Yeah.
I think there's a few times where there's some moments where it's like, okay, obviously that's like something you wouldn't show a little kid.
Animation, yeah.
But it was one of those shows where like the writing was such. And like some of the scenes were so intensely done that like as I knew as a kid, every time I would I remember catching glimpses of Moral Oral and I'd be like, oh, I don't think I should be watching this show. Like as a kid, I just always had that like feeling sometimes depending on the show. There were some shows that like Futurama. When I watched that as a kid, I never felt like, oh, I shouldn't be watching this, even if there was like a sexy joke or something. Yeah. I would just feel like, okay, well, even if I did like get it, and I was like, ooh, that was a little inappropriate. I didn't feel like weird for watching it, but like Moral Oral was the kind of thing where like when I watched it, I felt like, should I be watching this? Like this feels like
it was a very specific type of humor.
Yeah,
that definitely wasn't for kids.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
it was the epitome of an adult animated series.
I mean, there were a lot of like elements to it. And I remember I felt like I got it. When I was watching in high school, I remember there were some people that I talked to in high school who were like, "Oh, that show's messed up, dude. I don't like that show." And I feel like I'm not like being all high and mighty, like I got the sophisticated humor and Moral Oral or anything, but it just was like
a Rick and Morty fan.
Yeah. To be fair, you have to have a high IQ to enjoy Rick and Morty. Jesus Christ!
Shut the fuck up. Bring back Venture Bros.
God, it makes me so sad because Rick and Morty is really funny.
Yeah.
And
I think
really
the fan base has really killed it.
Done. And I was kind of bummed when they announced they ordered 70 episodes because I was like, I don't think we need 70
and
more.
Remembering that and knowing that the Venture Bros is being cut is another just twisting knife in my gut.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what the heck? But I think it's a
big money maker.
Yeah, it's a big money maker.
The biggest for them.
Big stuff. And I think I believe it was Time Warner who made the decision to cut Venture Bros. And I was telling you earlier before we started recording, like I do feel like if you were the CEO and you saw there's a show that has 7 seasons, but it took 17 years to produce them. Yeah. I don't know that like there's a good return on investment. There's not a lot. We don't sell enough merchandise based on this show.
It's sad too because the merchandising for Venture Bros could be huge.
It could be. It's got such a great design. And
I know that the collectibles that do exist for it go for tons of money. Yeah, So
I remember even as a kid when I would see the DVD collections at like FYE.
Yeah.
It just stands out, but like visually it stands out. The style, the aesthetics of Venture Bros is so visually appealing.
Yeah,
it's just so like appealing. As a kid, I remember seeing the DVD covers and being like, "What is that?" Like being intrigued. Only later finding out it was the Venture Bros.
Yeah. I was always really pulled into Venture Bros. I guess also because I grew up watching the new Johnny Quest Adventures, which was really cool. I had Johnny Quest toys as a kid. I remember.
Did you ever see that episode of Billy and Mandy where they do like a Johnny Quest parody, and like Billy is Johnny Quest and like Irwin is the
he's like
the Indian kid. What's his name?
Oh,
I forget his name.
But I knew. And who's the dog?
I don't know.
I love Johnny Quest. I hope Robert Rodriguez still has a swing at making.
Oh, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
Was that a thing?
Apparently
so.
Oh
wait, I remember that. We read about that in high school, didn't we?
No, this was.
Or was
actually,
that recent?
This was really recent.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think this was like less than 2 years ago.
I remember hearing something about Robert Rodriguez doing a Johnny Quest movie, and I'm like, that would be awesome.
Sounds awesome. So yeah, the Venture Bros definitely stands out.
We got to do a Robert Rodriguez episode.
Heck yeah!
Great. I would love to talk about Desperado and Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
I love freaking Desperado.
Oh, dude,
and Mariachi, dude.
Oh, dude. I think Once Upon a Time in Mexico is like super. People don't talk about that one.
I know.
I love that one. Johnny Depp is awesome in it. His eyeballs,
bleeding eyes shootout. So damn cool.
So good. Anyway, yeah.
Going back to the history of Adult Swim. We loved watching home movies.
Home movies, dude. Yeah. So I remember seeing home movies. That was a show where I was like, this doesn't feel. It
like
was
an adult show.
Yeah, where I had this. It was like the inverse of Moral Oral, where I was like, this is an adult show. Like it's on Adult Swim. So I shouldn't be watching it, but it doesn't feel like there's anything in here that it doesn't feel like anyone's about to like, pull down their pants or something. Like this doesn't feel like an inappropriate show. So that was one of the shows that I was always intrigued by, but I didn't watch until I was older, because I was the kind of kid who was like, I'm not gonna, I won't watch the thing that my mom wouldn't like me to watch,
I guess
mostly there were a few things that I watched anyway.
I was a kid who loved I loved animations. I loved cartoons. If I saw something animated as a kid, I was like, I have to give that a shot. Yeah. And my parents were very liberal and just let me watch just about anything. So if they saw that I showed interest in it, they would let me, and if I didn't like it or whatever, then that was that. So there were a few things that I had my eyes covered over, unless if I saw it, I wanted to see it, then I was lucky enough to watch it. And that was the case with Adult Swim, and how I was lucky enough to, and not just Adult Swim, the MTV animation. I grew up watching Beavis and Butthead, Eon Flux, The Max, which my brother's named after. He has two X's in his name.
I remember when you told me about The Max, and I immediately watched it, and it's just like
so cool.
It's almost like a fever dream. It's like so like weird and cool, and I'm like,
you don't see him. It's all his thoughts. Such a bizarre
and his
character.
Design is like really cool. And he's kind of like primal. Like there's something like it's really really cool.
Love The Max. Yeah. So, there was a lot of really cool adult animation. I was really lucky to grow up with all of that really cool stuff. It molded my humor. Yeah, and a sense of humor. And going back and watching a lot of them as an adult, it's so much more enjoyable too. It's like watching it again. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, there's all those jokes that you
didn't get as a kid because dumb 7-year-old.
Yeah, and even like even on like a really like basic level of like pop culture references, like sometimes there's just pop culture references you don't get, and then you get older, you learn about things, and then you watch a show again, and it's like, oh, I get all these jokes now. Like,
man, it's something that totally molded my interest into pop culture as well. Venture Bros. Coming back to the Venture Bros. They have David Bowie, Iggy Pop, and then there's the one episode where Doc Venture's he's underground. He calls up Brock and he says, "I'm trapped down here with a confessed arsonist," and it's literally the whole tunnels is an homage to Firestarter, the song, and the lead singer from holy crap.
Oh, what is it?
Oh my god! I'm gonna have to look it up. I drew a fart on my brain.
It's okay.
Sorry, bro.
No, it's okay.
Prodigy.
I forgive you.
The Prodigy.
That's right.
Yeah, man. Like notorious techno group. Yeah. So there was a lot of stuff that pushed me to dig deeper and find out what they were making fun of. Or Robot Chicken did a lot of that.
Robot Chicken for sure.
Yeah, it's it's based on pop
'Cause
culture
and
jokes.
it's so funny, like how Robot Chicken can go from like one gag that's just like so like stupid and like to the point. Like you don't have to think about it at all.
Yeah.
It's like
just
not
quick.
Yeah, it's like not. It's like hardly
It's so dumb.
thought provoking. And then they'll do one that's like 5 minutes long, and it's like really involved and like really like it's just so like And they both can be really really funny. One of my favorites is the gummy bear.
The gummy bear simple,
just
screaming, stepping into the bear trap.
Hilarious. It's so funny. One of the and then like did you ever see the Game of Life bit where it's like it's the pegs from the Game of Life, and it's like get married in the Game of Life.
Yeah.
And then the pink peg like kills the blue peg.
And then
it's
the
like,
cop
shoot
show
your
up.
husband in the Game of Life. It's so funny.
I don't know why people hate on Robot Chicken so much. It gets a lot of hate sometimes.
I get it to some degree because it's it's kind of like low hanging fruit a little bit. Like again like the gummy bear thing, or like they'll do something really like so simply like stupid that it's like that was like. I made that joke with my friends.
Yeah.
Like that took like no thought at all.
And then people's like, why did you turn it into a cartoon?
Yeah, and it's like, okay, all right. One of my favorites though that I like applauded was it's a funeral and it's Diablo Cody is giving the eulogy.
I never saw that
and
one.
it's so funny. Like the eulogy is all full of like stupid inane crap and like these dumb like made up words. And the thing that made me love it is that Diablo Cody actually voices herself.
A lot of people went on to do that, which was really cool.
It's really great.
Yeah.
I believe there's a Scooby-Doo bit where they get Matthew Lillard, Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Lando Cardellini because Seth Green is in Scooby-Doo too.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah.
So I think there's one where they get all of them to be in on it, which is great.
Robot Chicken's been on for a while too.
It has.
I remember watching the first episode when I was in the 4th grade.
Wow.
I remember being so excited for it because at the time too I read Toy Fair, and it wasn't until much later that I connected the lines that writers from Twisted Toy Fair Theater and Toy Fair Magazine, which reviewed toys, left to.
It'd be weird if they didn't.
Yeah. And then in Toy Fair Magazine they had Twisted Toy Fair
They
Theater.
review refrigerators.
Yeah. And so they had the Twisted Toy Fair Theater bits in the magazines, and they were just like comic books with toys, which would go on to be Robot Chicken.
Wow.
Yeah, and a lot of those
Like an Action League Now kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of those comic sketches, I remember, they haven't been adapted, word for word like the comic was.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of stuff that was softly adapted from Twisted Toy Fair Theater into Robot Chicken. Yeah.
One of the funny things is like a lot of those shows on Adult Swim. As a kid, I felt like my parents, particularly my dad, was so like vehemently against like adult animation. As it turns out, he actually really he has a very high bar, as he likes to say. Whoa, excuse me. Jeez, I'm just burping up a storm.
That's how
today.
I was like with like my energy drink the last episode.
Oh my god.
I was gonna say the name of it with my.
No, but so like my dad really liked Duckman. Did you ever see Duckman? It starred what's his name? George Costanza.
I think I remember it.
What's his name? Who plays George? Oh my god, I feel so stupid.
He's also in Harley Quinn. I just read his name the other day.
I hate when this happens. What's his name?
I'm gonna find his name.
No, I'm gonna remember it. I'm gonna remember it before you find it.
Okay.
It is George Costanza is played by
no.
Just give it to me.
Jason Alexander.
Jason Alexander.
Yeah,
God.
Yeah. I always forget his name too. Yeah.
Cause like he's George Costanza.
Yeah.
Like
that's who
which
he
is like
Yeah.
That's what Alfonso Ribeiro told Will Smith on the set of Fresh Prince. Is like you're really smart calling yourself Will in the show. Everybody calls me Carlton.
Good move.
But no, yeah. So it's he's a duck, and he's the title of the show. The full title is Duckman. Duckman. It's Family Man and Private Dick.
I remember that now. Yeah.
And
Was it on Comedy Central?
I don't know. I think it was on Comedy Central. And anyway, he's a private detective who's like super inept. Actually, he's not very good. And his partner, who's a little pig, I forget his name, but he's got like a funny name. He's like the smart, like the straight man. Like he's actually doing detective work and stuff. And that show's pretty good. We actually got my dad the full series on DVD because we found it. And my dad is so hard to get gifts for.
Yeah.
Like he'll always figure out what it is. And so when my mom and I saw Duckman on DVD, we were like, he's never gonna guess that this is it. And he was like legitimate. It's hard to like see my dad legitimately surprised. And so like when he saw that, I was like, oh man, that like made me feel good. I was like, we did it. I looked at my mom. I was like, we did it. No, but I remember. So other stuff like Robot Chicken and like. All that kind of stuff, all the stuff on Adult Swim, like in my mind, I'm like, my dad would hate all that because it's just like not, to him, it's not clever, and I get it, like to some degree, it's not clever, or at least at face value, it's not clever.
There's so many just wild genres too.
Yeah, but when you like dig deeper in a lot of those shows, it is very clever. Like the animation's impressive, which makes up for like sort of the lack of cleverness. Yeah.
Super Jail's
a great example of that.
Yeah,
because the writing's just kind of not.
Christy Karakis is a nutty creator.
There's some great. I mean, there's some good dialogue, but it's like the point. The draw of Super Jail was the artwork and the animation, like the fight scenes.
Brilliant.
That's why you watched it. Yeah, I loved Super Jail.
I think the plot was still also.
It was pretty good.
It was like more serialized episodes.
Yeah. There were some, and then it's mostly episodic. But so the funny story I was trying to get to is that my sister and I, we went to a concert in I forget where, but we didn't. Normally we would like get tickets for our parents to go, so we would all go, because it was just like fun to share the experience. But my sister only got tickets for me and her, so they dropped us off and they went back to the hotel and they were just like watching TV. And when we got back. My parents were like, man, we were watching this crazy show. It was so funny. It was like animated with like little puppets, and they were like making fun of like different shows and stuff. And we were like, and me and my sister were like, what are they talking about? Like, what could it be? And we were like, oh my god, were you watching Robot Chicken? And they were like, I don't know. And we were like, and they like described one of the sketches. And we were like, oh, that's totally Robot Chicken. And we like pulled it up on our phone, like, look, like this is what you saw, right? And they were like, yeah. And they thought it was hilarious. So it was like one of those things where I'm like, you just never know. Yeah. You just never know what someone's gonna be open to when they are just scrolling through TV, which just like cracked me up that my dad was like, it was so funny. It was hilarious.
I think they could have watched any episode. Yeah. And they could have watched a really bad one.
Yeah, they could have watched one that made fun of something they really liked in a way that was like, that they felt like, well, that's ugly. I don't like that. Yeah. But they caught one that was like actually, that was like really clever. It was like parodying something they in a way that they liked, or that they parodied something that they didn't like, that they were like, yeah.
I think that's what makes Robot Chicken great too.
Yeah, it's just so versatile.
Coming back to what we were talking about in the last episode, they're parodies of stuff that people understand and like.
Yeah.
It works out. Stroker and Hoop, I think, was another really good one that was underrated on Adult Swim.
Which one was that one?
It was like I think it was only 2 seasons
so sorry.
long.
I keep tapping the table and the mics pick it up.
I think it was in 2004, 2005. It was earlier days. It was 2 cops, and they had a car kind of like what do I call it?
Knight Rider?
Knight Rider, yeah.
Like Kit?
Like Kit, yeah. Why go to Hell 9000? And one guy has like a mustache, and he's like red hair, and the other guy's like a real scrawny, goofy, nerdy type cop. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're even cops, actually. They're PIs. Oh, okay. They're private investigators.
We're figuring the show out as you describe it.
And I'm thinking back on it. They're PIs, and it was just really goofy. There's one episode where one guy goes to them, and he's claiming that Ron Howard is mind controlling him. That's why he has to wear an aluminum foil cap. And Stroker and Hoop aren't convinced. You're so dumb. Why would Ron Howard do that? And it turns out that Ron Howard was actually mind controlling people.
Oh. It's like an episode of Frankenhole where Ron Howard has to like have sex with himself.
Why was Adult Swim so keen on just ripping on?
I know, yeah, just dunking on Ron Howard.
Such a nice guy.
I wonder what he thinks about it.
I feel like you'd have a good
Yeah, that was one episode of Frankenhole that I was like, I can't do this, but it is funny.
Oh man. And then there's Xavier Renegade Angel.
Xavier Renegade
Which
Angel.
came from the creators of Wonder Chosen.
I love Xavier Renegade Angel, and it is so difficult to. It's just like you either get it or you don't, and you know, even if you get it, you still might not like it.
Yeah.
Because
Max doesn't like it.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that like if you pay attention, it's like every line is a joke. But they're also like broad and absurd that like if you're not paying attention, you miss all the jokes. Like it's just such a strange show, and I love they always use like circular logic. And there's one clip that like cracks me up where he's like talking to this farmer, and he's like, we have to do the rain dance to get to grow the crops, and the farmer's like, okay, and Xavier's like, he's about to start doing it, and then he's like, oh shoot, I forgot how to do the rain dance, and then he's like, but if we do the dance of irony, we can, you know, whatever, and then he's like, and then the farmer's like, okay, well, do you know how to do that dance? And he's like, no, the only person who can do that dance is a god, and I'm not a god. Also, it has to be raining, which is why it is the dance of irony. And the farmer goes, damn this circular logic, and it like cracks me up because it's just like the show just like totally like describes itself in that one little clip, like because the whole thing. Another clip I love is when he needs to steal all the footballs from the sporting goods store. That's like
my favorite episode.
And he's like, how do I distract people who like sports? Sports. And everyone starts cheering, and he just like picks. I love that he picks up the pyramid.
As a pyramid
like
pile.
And just none of them move or shift or anything.
Wobbles out.
He just picks it up and walks out.
Oh man. It was Wonder Chosen that ended with the finale that had a different series, so they could get canceled, right?
Is that what they did?
I think it was Wonder Chosen, or I don't think it was Xavier. I remember talking about it with Carlos that I think they wanted to get canceled or something like that, and they like recorded a whole other episode for a whole other TV show.
What?
So when they turned that in, so when it aired, it was something else. It wasn't Wonder Chosen.
Wow.
And I think it really pissed off the execs.
That was an MTV show too.
Yeah.
It was MTV
from 2005 to 2006.
Yeah.
And then they went on to do Xavier.
Yeah, Wonder Chosen is great.
Incredible.
I love the They Might Be Giants as the Slaves song, which is one of my favorites.
That yesterday.
I love that little song. Just like the imagery of the little kids dancing to that, it's so funny. And for context, the song is honoring slaves.
Yeah.
It's not like
it's
not romanticizing it. There's a lot of context you need. The whole episode should have a caveat of like there's the context within each of these programs. Is important.
You really have to watch it and understand it.
I also like the little girl, Beat Kids. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Where they would like go interview people because they're the
streets.
kids on the beat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the little girl who like is
How'd
interviewing all the Wall Street
today?
people. Yeah. How did you exploit people today? I didn't yet. Where will you hide when the revolution comes?
So ahead of its time.
Yeah. Truly.
Like so ahead of its time, like during the Bush era,
Truly.
Bush administration era of comedy.
Yeah.
From like the early 2000s, like I feel like all the way up into 2008, adult animation wasn't really widely accepted as much as it is now, I feel.
Yeah. I think it very much was like kind of an underground thing.
Yeah.
Because you start. So the thing I wanted to say was that like people didn't take animation seriously, and then Akira got made.
Yeah.
The Japanese film.
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, whoa. But really, it only did that for anime.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you go to the 90s, and Cowboy Bebop comes out.
Yeah.
And then they do the dub. And the dub is syndicated onto Adult Swim.
Yep.
And that's like the big thing that launches not only Adult Swim, but anime in
Anime
America.
syndication,
Yeah. And then it becomes Toonami on Cartoon Network. So it's like that's like sort of a transitionary thing because you have like Cartoon Network and then Toonami where they show the anime and then Adult Swim.
Right.
And Cowboy Bebop, first of all, incredible.
Incredible.
That show is so incredible. I knew I was going to love it. When it came out on Blu-ray, I just bought the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Hadn't seen a single episode. I was just like, I know I'm going to like this. Brandon likes this. Everyone tells me I would like it.
Damn cool.
I'm just going to buy the Bluray.
Yeah.
Like, I shelled out for the Blu-ray, not the DVD, and I don't regret it at all. It was a great purchase. And one of the greatest English dubs of all time.
Yep.
Proves that you can have a good dub.
Yeah.
And there are great dubs out there now.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Cowboy Bebop really paved the way to some degree. That and on sort of like the other side of the spectrum, at the same time, you have two young men fresh out of college making a short little video called Santa Claus versus Jesus Christ, I believe is what it's called. And then Comedy Central picks it up and turns it into South Park.
Yeah.
And
the 90s wake for adult animation was huge.
Yeah, and you also have a Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy.
Which screwed that guy. But Ren and Stimpy sort
Ron
of...
K, Ron K, what's his name?
I think it's John K.
John K, yeah.
Yeah.
Total creep.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't want the reboot to happen.
Yeah.
Even though it's without him and,
Yeah. Which is a bummer, because Ren and Stimpy is great.
Yeah, and I think it's difficult, because it's like, how do you... how do you separate the art from the artist? Can you separate the art from the artist? Yeah. I mean, like, because the thing is, whether we like it or not, Ren and Stimpy was huge, not only for adult animation, just animation, television animation in general. Yeah. Like, you can see the influence, into, like, practically to today.
Yeah.
And so it's really difficult, but it's hard to talk about adult animation without talking about Ren and Stimpy, because it really is kind of
it kind of spearheaded a lot of stuff in the 90s.
It kind of changed the game a little bit.
Yeah. Because before that, anything that was really adult animation was just... man, I really can't think of anything aside from movies like Heavy Metal.
Yeah. Well, and even... Because part of the big reason that Ren and Stimpy... One of the other big reasons that Ren and Stimpy is so important is just the style of animation.
At least in America, too, though.
Yeah.
Because American animation just... was never it was always like we say for kids kids
and so like and one of the things too is that animation on television was cheap. Like, there's a reason that Adult Swim could get by using all the Hanna-Barbera cells, because all the cells, they like didn't do anything. Like, the characters were just standing there and they're talking.
So that's why we got stuff like Harvey Birdman.
Yeah, that's how you get Harvey Birdman, C-Lab, and Space Ghost. That's how you get those shows, because they had access to all the cells, so they just made new shows, which is, to me, that's super cool.
Brilliant.
And I love that, like, nobody remembers Space Ghost, the actual show.
Like, you had to explain to people that he's a character from, like, what, the 70s, 80s?
I don't know, but it's like, now, if I were to watch an episode of Space Ghost and I see Space Ghost fighting Brack and Zorak, and I would be like, why? I don't get it, because I know them as their Space Ghost Coast to Coast personas.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, they would, I think this was before the Boomerang channel, when Boomerang was on Cartoon Network still, they would run stuff like I forgot the names. There was a one with a dinosaur, and then that weird oblong shaped creature, and then there was Space Ghost, and then and I remember watching the episode where there's tons of Zoraks. Yeah. And he was on the planet fighting the Zoraks, and that's when it was when I was explained to by my parents, my dad. Space Ghost is an old cartoon. Yeah. And they just, Brack used to be the bad guy.
Yeah. Oh. He didn't talk like that.
Yeah. He didn't talk like that.
My favorite is when he has the monkey take the test for him. Or the monkey takes the notes for him. Hello, my name is Bingo. I like bananas. Eek eek. I got an F. It's so good. No, but one of the big things is that Ren and Stimpy. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. Yeah. Ren and Stimpy. One of the things that they did that was so important was that no two frames were the same. Right. So like, you couldn't just get away with using the animation cells and like recycling the mouth movements. And there's actually a great gag about that in The Critic, where he's like sitting in the theater and he's like, "This animation stinks. It's just the same cells with recycled mouth movements." And like the whole time he's saying that, he's not moving, and his mouth is just like the same three mouth like clips like playing over and over, and it like
Such clever
it
animation.
cracked me up. Yeah, that show's so funny.
Clever.
so funny. But yeah, that's part of the reason that like it's hard to talk about animation today without talking about Ren and Stimpy, because they kind of paved that way to do more intense animation on television. Yeah. You know, because only the movies could do. It's funny that in The Critic he's making fun of animated movies, but like it's really animated television that looked like that, that had that like blocky, like, you know, almost like stop motion, like because like, and not that stop motion's bad, but I love stop motion, but
in the back end way,
like where it's like very like
blocky,
stiff, you know, a show that does that well, because the main thing about the show is the dialogue, is Archer. Yeah, you've seen Archer?
Oh, of course I've seen Archer. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
Frisky Dingo creators.
Oh yeah,
that started
yeah.
Adult Swim on. I remember watching Archer, the premiere of Archer in high school.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Archer is so funny.
So damn funny.
It's one of those shows that like you need the context of the show. It's got a very like Anchorman kind of vibe where because it's like about a man who's a spy in like a kind of 1950s, 60s, 70s.
I think it takes place in the late 80s, actually.
Yeah? Okay,
or the mid 80s, I think is when it takes place in.
Because it has that aesthetic of the almost that like Mad Men kind of aesthetic, right? Like,
I was rewatching it a few months ago and I was like, and that's when it dawned on me, I was like, wait a second, this doesn't take place in modern day.
Yeah. But you it's kind of tough. You can't like quote it.
Yeah, definitely. I know a guy, one of my best friends, Max's best friend, Joshy Engelberg, Joshy boy, he could quote Archer back to front. He's really good at just remembering quotes, and he's always quoting it when we're on Xbox Live. Yeah. He was quoting it yesterday when we were playing Astroneer. What are you, comrade? Question? That's one of like quotes you could actually say. Yeah.
But it's tough. It's like it's that thing where it's one of those shows where you absolutely need the context kind of to talk about it, because just some of the humor in there is like so funny, but so like not appropriate or PC.
Hilarious.
Like it's.
I'm really happy that Archer is run so long.
Yeah.
And still is.
And I love that they took the opportunity to just be like, all right, well, this season we're just going to go nuts.
Yeah.
Now it's a film noir, and now it's so in space.
Cool. Yeah. I really like that they've done that. I feel like it's one of the last ones in the last decade to pave the way and make animation accepted for everyone. Yeah, and for sure. Yeah, you know, because like we go to the stores now, we see stuff like we see Bob's Burgers merchandise everywhere. Oh yeah. Rick and Morty merchandise, and there's no other merchandise for any Adult Swim show that I could think of that I could see publicly. Yeah.
At least not ones that are Adult Swim originals.
Right. So it's really cool how we've stepped into a wider future. Yeah. For animation.
Yeah, particularly adult animation.
Yeah, stuff that we would just like. I remember watching stuff on Shockwave.com and what was the other one? Where did Happy Tree Friends begin?
I don't know. Happy Tree Friends wasn't Albino Black Sheep, was it?
Oh, I don't.
But Albino Black Sheep had a very similar like humor and style to a lot of adult animation at the time.
I think Adam Films was one of the was one of the websites that had a lot of. I think that's where Justin Roiland also started. So
that's right. Yeah, with House of Cosby's. Yeah. Happy Tree Friends, you bring that up. That's an interesting one because it sort of is the antithesis of the thing we were talking about ugly animation. Yeah. It's like you can't make an animated show for adults if it isn't the ugliest looking thing on the planet. Happy Tree Friends is like the cutest. Like Happy Tree Friends like laughs in the face of that because it's like it looks like a children's show. Like it looks like a children's show, and then it's horrifying. Yeah. Like incredibly violent. There's a great
God, that show was nuts, dude.
It's insane.
I remember watching them all like in the 6th grade and 7th grade.
Yeah. No, yeah, I remember. The reason I think I knew about Happy Tree Friends before, but the thing that made me like, or no, I didn't know about it before, but then I was like, oh, that's sick, is the Fall Out Boy video for oh God, what's it called? It's a great song.
Girls
no. It's
Having Fun is the most
no that's the Panic at the Disco song.
Oh, they did a music video for that one though.
That one is the Fish Tank People. That Panic at the Disco song is a Fish Tank People music video. The one you're thinking about. Lying is the most fun a girl can have without taking her clothes off. Yeah, that's Panic at the Disco, and that's like the music video where the people have the fish tanks on their heads. That one's a killer video too.
I know that they made one because that's where I first heard the song.
Well, dang. Okay, but there's
I'm gonna figure this out.
Yeah, look this up because I know the Fall Out Boy song that Happy Tree Friends did a video for is man. If Mia listens to this, she's gonna kill me. She's gonna be like, well, "How do you not remember?" It is.
You sure it wasn't?
I'm absolutely sure.
Carpal Tunnel
of
Love. No, and I'm thinking of. Yeah, I'm totally thinking that they're the same song.
Yeah,
this was
they're
the song.
Different. They're
You're totally right. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There's Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, and the Fall Out Boy it features in the Happy Tree Friends style, which I love.
And that's when stuff blew up at Hot Topic. So that's why Hot Topic picked up Happy Tree Friend merchandise.
Actually, probably, yeah, for sure.
It all makes sense.
It all makes sense now. No, yeah, but that was one of the things where I was like, "Oh, this is great!" And what a perfect song to use Happy Tree Friends with, because it's just like.
I can't believe I thought it was a Panic at the Disco song.
Yeah, well, the emo trinity, as people like to call them.
I never listened to that music growing up. That's why.
Yeah,
it wasn't my music.
Yeah, that was a lot of the stuff that Mia and I listened to. I mean, on top of the stuff that my parents were listening to as well.
I didn't get into the music until like later in high school.
Yeah.
As a kid, I was bitter. Like, this is dumb hip music for pop kids.
Oh yeah,
I remember. I thought it was cool because I listened to 80s music.
Yeah, I liked listening to both, so I was like, I know Brendan always hated like pop punk stuff because he was like, oh, they all sound the same when they sing. I'm like, dude, that is like that's like the old man like way to
that's how I used to be
critique stuff, like he's like, they all have that like whiny voice. I'm like, I mean, sure, but like you could say that all like country songs sound like Bob Dylan. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, don't insult Bob Dylan like that.
They all sound like that. I mean, like, look, there was that really funny, they were like, there was that, they announced that Timothée Chalamet was going to play Bob Dylan, and there was that great tweet, because people were like, can he even sing? And someone tweeted out, and they were like,
Dylan even sing?
Someone tweeted out, they were like, everyone's complaining if Timothée Chalamet can even sing, but like, bitch, can Bob Dylan? Shit. Shut up. It's so funny. No, but like what a perfect song to use it for, because it's one of the few. That's like the only song on that album that has like the screamo bits.
Yeah.
That are like so intense, and it's like perfect for Happy Tree Friends because the song is like your pretty average like pop punk song. Yeah. Like pop punk rock song, and then like vicious. And then it gets real intense with the sort of screamo bit, and turns back into that like pop punky thing. Which is sort of like the staple of Happy Tree Friends. Right?
I remember the summer that video came out, man. Because I remember listening to that song a lot. Because I was like, oh, this is a really cool song. The music video went so great with it. Yeah. I was in summer into 7th grade. Yeah. I remember.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was great.
I was there.
we were there. We were there. We fought in those battles. I
always loved the Brian Williams quote. I was there and he wasn't there.
Narrator. He wasn't.
He wasn't. So, damn, Brian, you lied to us.
No, but yeah, Happy Tree Friends was definitely one of those things that was like so like the thing that made it entertaining was that it was super cutesy and super violent. Yeah. Which is why kind of like to some degree I don't mind when a show's kind of ugly. Yeah. Because it's like they're not trying to run off of the novelty of like, oh, it's a puppet saying the F word, because it's like
Happy Time Murder.
That's not gonna get you far. It's not that funny. Like it's funny like once, and then it's
I hated that movie.
It's bad. Dude. Remember that scene where they say the F word like 200
and they just
times?
like they're just flipping each other off.
Yeah, and then it's like,
God, I hate that movie.
It just wasn't funny. It just was like this
was the worst movie ever.
It's just not funny, man. And like, but that's the thing. If you have like cutesy animation or whatever, and the characters are like swearing like sailors, it's kind of like the novelty's gonna wear off. So to some degree, I don't mind when a show's super ugly, but also like
it's about timing.
Yeah, but I don't want to look at an ugly show for 7 seasons. I don't want to watch that.
Big Mouth.
It's so ugly. Yeah.
I
can't. There are some moments in Big Mouth that I enjoy, but overall, it is just so visually
ugly.
I just can't do it. I appreciate that people worked hard on it. It just doesn't. It looks ugly. The designs are ugly. All the characters are just like it's ugly.
It's fuck ugly.
Maybe he's trying to hide his face because. But I think I would say Family Guy also is. Ugly. And it's not to say that it's poorly designed. Like it's like obviously there are design decisions that go into like the characters in Big Mouth. Like they're designed for specific reasons. It's just not visually appealing at all. And I think like Family Guy is part of that.
It's not unique.
It's just so like
just
bland,
ugly, man. Yeah.
And like I just can't. I just can't do it.
I think that's what makes a lot of the the more underground stuff so unique, and that's why I think the people who know and love Venture Bros are like, yeah, that's a great show because of the animation, because of the writing, because it's just so unique.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I do enjoy about the look of that show is that it takes the Johnny Quest aesthetic and brings it into the modern age. Yeah. But not only that, like it's just cool to see this sort of this evolution of Adult Swim, where like, oh, they were using cells from Johnny Quest to make some cruddy show. That was all like dialogue based. Now they're basing the visuals of the show on Johnny Quest, and now the dialogue and the animation look great. Yeah, it's cool to see that evolution.
Yeah. I hope as far as the future of animation goes, I hope that people keep stepping in that direction.
I hope so too. I think we're definitely finding we're reaching a point where both sort of family oriented animation and adult animation are coming to. Like they're both rising to the occasion where family-oriented animation couldn't or was never that in-depth with story or, themes or like the morals of the stories were all very like paper-thin kind of. Like now they're rising to the occasion, and there are a lot of new animated shows on family networks or children's networks that are like have really in-depth stories, really great character arcs.
Adult themes.
Yeah, and really more adult themes or not necessarily adult, but like more like
it's applicable for everybody.
They're more like intensely universal and human, and it's not just like be nice to your brother or whatever. It's like we're not that shows from like when we were growing up didn't have those things, but like shows from when we were growing up, they were all episodic. And there were a lot of good like morals. There's some great Hey Arnold episodes that are like. The one about what's his name? Is it the Pigeon Man? I forget.
I know what you're talking about.
But that one is like really the one with Mr. Huyn's daughter at Christmas time. Like those are some really they cut deeper than just like when Arnold has to help his friend overcome like a fear or something. So it's not like that stuff wasn't in animation before or in family oriented animation before. But
it's a lot much more the standard. Now.
Now there's a standard. Like those shows paved the way to create shows like Gravity Falls, Steven Universe, regular show. All those kinds of shows. Adventure Time. Like
because the fan base for those, cartoons, whatever you want to call them, kids Cartoon Network series, whatever.
Yeah.
The adult base is just as broad as the children's fan base, and it gives kids to grow up with something too.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah. And like, and that's not to say every show has to do that. I mean, if your show's like a comedy, like Gumball, you don't have to, you don't have to have like some intense like emotional story or whatever. But like even that, the comedy in Gumball,
hilarious.
It's getting closer to that Xavier Renegade Angel thing where like every line of dialogue is a joke, and if you're not paying attention,
so rapid fire.
You're gonna miss it.
Love it.
Like we're becoming faster thinking creatures, right? Because it's like when I was younger, when Carlos first showed me like Xavier Renegade Angel, I remember I was like, "What am I watching?" You can't take it in.
I didn't start liking it until we started talking about it.
Like you can't possibly understand it on the first viewing because it's just like there's so much
overload,
happening. Yeah, it's like what I like to call like Despicable Me, like a like stimulation overload for children because it's like. Candy colored and like the fart gun and like the minions and like there's just all and it was 3D when it came out. There's like all this like and you're kind of like I cannot like handle this. Xavier Renegade Angel was the same thing but for like my mind. Like I remember sitting there like what and like I would catch like 2 or 3 jokes, and I would crack up, and I'd be like, I need it, and I would go back.
And watch
I would go. I would like go back like a few, like seconds just to like catch more of the joke, because it's like there's like 15 layers to any single joke on the show. It's like it's so insane. But like I'm saying, like even like a show like more shows like Gumball are reaching that level of like you really got to be paying attention, because like every line is like a triple entendre for some for something else happening in the narrative, and it's like so impressive. It's like we're just getting faster. We're getting like, which is partly why I think like when we look at older stuff, it all feels so slow, because now things are just so like rapid fire. Yeah,
like everything is just
yeah.
And thinking on animation too, going back, everything's just evolved so damn much. I guess it's just been a big learning process for us as humans over time.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we really have been animating for that long, if we really think about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's, the art of filmmaking and the art of animation are both still pretty young.
Yeah.
Art.
Like less than 200 years old, I'd say.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're
not old at all.
They're not that old. So, yeah, I mean, we're still figuring things out.
Damn, things are going to be really funny in 500 years, and
I
I'm
know.
going to be dead.
Yeah,
oh,
damn it!
Damn it!
It's like a Bill and Ted thing. When they talk to themselves, dude. Oh my god,
man, I cried.
So funny,
so
so
hard,
good,
man.
So good. We got to do a Bill and I'm telling you, the next episode has got to be like a Bill and Ted episode.
Bill and Ted. I'm so down to do Bill and Ted.
Because now we've seen all 3 of them.
Yeah, we could talk about the animated series.
Ooh, yeah. The cruddy live action series.
Yeah, I forgot about that too. Wow.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah,
it was bad. We should do a whole episode on live action sitcoms based on 80s movies that are terrible.
Yeah,
because there are too many of those.
A lot of the Ferris Bueller one.
The Ferris Bueller one is really bad, but it does feature Jennifer Aniston as Jeannie. The worst one is the Uncle Buck TV show.
Oh man.
I think they both are contenders for worst theme song, because the Ferris Bueller theme song is just
pretty bad.
Ferris Bueller, like for 30 seconds. And it's
Remember
awful.
that.
And the Uncle Buck one is so just like, it was almost like they're trying to do like Roseanne or something. It's like, because not that Roseanne has like lyrics in its theme song, but it's got that kind of like laid back, like twangy kind of like middle American thing. And the Uncle Buck one is like that, but with lyrics. But it's like, he's Uncle Buck, Uncle Buck, and it's so it's like I want to tear my hair out.
Theme songs.
It's so bad.
Theme songs were so weird.
That'd be a good episode too. Is just
theme songs.
An episode on theme songs. Wow. Good theme songs. But anyway, adult animation. Oh yeah, so animation is kind of we're still figuring it out, because there's still some crazy stuff that has happened that I feel like could have had a great influence. There was oh man, what's his name? He was a brilliant animator. He passed away within the last few years. I forget his name, and it's gonna kill me. But he was the supervising animator on Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, okay.
And he worked at Disney, and he.
I remember
William.
I remember reading about
William something. Yeah, look it up while I talk. But he decided, he was like, well, back in the day when you were like an artist, you mastered your craft and you created your magnum opus. And I feel like I've mastered my craft, so I'm going to create my magnum opus, which was going to be The Thief and the Cobbler, William something. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not even William. I feel like a horrible fan. I love this guy. And his work is incredible. But he spent years trying to create The Thief and the Cobbler. He animated like...
Is it Richard Williams?
Yes, Richard Williams.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I had William right.
Yeah.
Richard Williams. He was a brilliant animator. And his work on Roger Rabbit is incredible. Yeah. I mean, Roger Rabbit is... I love that movie.
He did a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Roger Rabbit, also a big sort of like adult animation.
Yeah.
I would say it's a big influence on adult animation. I mean, you also have Cool World, which is like the gritty version of Roger Rabbit.
Which is really underlooked too, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Brad Pitt?
I like Roger Rabbit more.
Yeah.
I think it's just a more like a better structured movie. And
Cool World is so rad.
Cool World is
such a cool movie too.
Yeah.
I
mean, they're
wish they would
different.
make more movies
they're
like
different
that.
Movies, but Yeah, I wish so
like that,
too. You know, I think like there's something to be said about combining 2D animation and live action.
It's really cool.
When it's done right, like
It looks cool.
again, Roger Rabbit just looks
Brilliant.
incredible.
There's
you buy
frames
it.
too where they drew on Bob Hoskins' face, in the part where they're driving.
Oh yeah.
And it's mixed, but some of the frames are actually animated on Bob's face.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
They're with Lenny.
Yeah.
Or is it Benny? Benny the cab.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's because in Disneyland, the Roger Rabbit ride, you ride in Benny's cousin Lenny, which I'm like, why don't they just make it Benny?
Yeah.
That's weird. But yeah, so I always get confused because I'm always thinking of the Roger Rabbit ride rather than the movie. So I was calling him Lenny, but it's Benny the cab.
Love that movie.
That's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think one of the bummer things about that project, the Thief and the Cobbler, is that he didn't really finish it, and the studios were like, well, we'll just buy it from you and we'll do whatever we want. So there's like 4 different cuts of that movie. Because one of them is Miramax, what's his name? Harvey Shitstain.
Yeah, good enough for me.
That guy. There's one cut where, and like there's supposed to be no dialogue from like the 2 main characters, the 2 title characters, the Thief and the Cobbler. They don't speak. But the Miramax, God bless them. They hired I forget who to play the thief, and Matthew Broderick
Vincent Price
to be the cobbler. Well, Vincent Price was actually originally in the movie as the bad guy.
Wow!
And so his character was supposed to have dialogue, and he recorded all the dialogue and everything. But they hired Matthew Broderick.
How old was Matthew Broderick?
And I forget who to be the thief. But it was they basically just wrote a bunch of dialogue as the internal monologue of these 2 characters. And basically the entire movie, you're just like, shut up. Like, they don't stop talking. Because, like, the Hollywood producers are sitting there like, nobody's going to sit and watch a movie where nobody talks. So, they have, like, Matthew Broderick, like, going like, I love the princess. I wish I could be with her. I'm going to couple this shoe. La-di-da-di-da. And it's like, shut up. Just stop talking.
What an easy paycheck.
I know, right? Like, and I actually like Matthew Broderick. People have weird opinions about Matthew Broderick, but I actually like him. I wish he would do more stuff nowadays. Yeah. I feel like there's a good Matthew Broderick comeback awaiting us.
It's on the horizon.
Yeah. But that is one of the things. One of the cool things about that, though, is that a lot of fans of Richard Williams.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I feel so bad that I couldn't remember his name. But a lot of fans of Richard Williams found a lot of the animation, like rough sketches and rough animation and cells and everything, and they made a whole new cut of that movie that more closely is what he envisioned.
That's cool.
Which is super cool. And I think like maybe if he had finished it, that would have been a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Now it's this cool story that's kind of tragic, but there's a documentary about it, and there's like 4 different cuts of the movie. So if you're a student of animation, you can compare all of them and see which one you like, which one works, which one doesn't. You can see the test shots that he never finished, and all that kind of thing. So there is a legacy to that film, but it could have been this greater thing if he had finished it and got like a wide distribution, which would have been really cool, I think. And it could have changed the game, because there's so many crazy things that he does visually in that film that you don't see in any animation nowadays, unless you're looking at, I should say, any mainstream animation.
Right.
Because when you're looking at like indie stuff, or like people on YouTube, animators on YouTube, there are so many cool things that people are doing.
Yeah.
I cannot recommend enough, everyone listening, to go look up the YouTuber Worthikids, WORTHIKIDS, and his series Big Top Burger.
I showed it to Max the other day too.
It is so good. It's so well done. It's so funny and so like absurd and weird. But not just Big Top Burger. He has a ton of different videos that he makes.
Did he do that one with the kid going home and he marries his mom?
Oh no, that's
another...
so that's Unico Joe. And Unico Joe created this animated series on YouTube called Great the Show. And that one that you're talking about is called Replacement Bully.
Okay, yeah.
And that one's really funny too. That one's great.
I was thinking about that the other day.
I think about that one a lot. Yeah. What do you got there, shrimp? A nice number 2 Ticonderoga pencil? Look again. I've replaced it. Yeah. That's really, really funny. But when you look at all of that stuff on YouTube, or like Newgrounds too was a
Yeah.
huge
Newgrounds,
place
that's
for
the other one I
animators.
was thinking
Oh,
about.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was another one. Yeah.
Yeah. Ego Raptor, who became Game Grumps, Aaron Hansen, he started on Newgrounds. He was really popular for his animations.
One of the useful things about YouTube now is that it's gotten people to share animation and upload. Back in the early 2000s, again, like we talked about, you'd have to go to Newgrounds or Shockwave for for animation and stuff like that. Yeah, so it was interesting to it's interesting now to have all these YouTubers.
Salad Fingers.
Yeah, Salad Fingers is another one. That was that initially on.
That was Newgrounds.
Newgrounds too, huh? Yeah. So it's cool.
Yeah,
It's a lot more widely available.
It is really cool. I think YouTube kind of for a while they had really, forsaken animation. Like they really screwed them over big time.
Damn.
And then animation became super popular with storytime channels like Jaden Animations and The Odd Ones Out. Or Domix. There's a lot of those kinds of people, and they're great, if you're looking for cool animation, there is a ton of cool, like experimental, interesting animation coming out of indie places in YouTube, and
it's more than comedy too.
Yeah,
it's good horror and drama,
and even the big studios are experimenting with the way that their animation looks and stuff. Especially, I think like Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
really changed the game. Like I think it made people go, oh, it doesn't have to look
like a cartoon.
Or it doesn't have to look like a Disney movie.
Right.
Disney can have their style and we can do something else.
Yeah.
Or even Disney has not necessarily looked exactly the same every time. Like
that's something that I've totally passed by on right now. We just talked about a bunch of comedy comedy adult animation, but there's stuff like A Scanner Darkly too that came back I think in 2000.
Yeah, motion capture.
Yeah, and then there was
was it all rotoscoped?
I think it was rotoscoped actually.
Dude, that's crazy.
And then Renaissance with Daniel Craig was really cool too. And that one I think that was, I don't know if that was motion capture or not.
Yeah.
Persepolis. Yeah.
Persepolis
really
is great. It's awesome. I got Anna, my girlfriend, or actually Anna wanted me to. She said on the podcast, she's my, I think it's my compatriot. She's not my girlfriend. She's like, it's total BS that we've been dating for 4 years and I'm still just your girlfriend. I'm not 12, okay? So I'm your compatriot on the podcast. Okay. So I thought that was funny. So my compatriot Anna, I got her the book of Persepolis.
Sweet.
And I found out through the book that the woman who wrote the book helped make the movie. She co-directed the movie.
Cool.
Which I was like, that's sick.
Another one that was really similar to that I watched, I think, when I was in 8th grade, was A Waltz with Bashir, which was about the Lebanese War, and it's incredible.
Oh wow.
That one's a really gritty, not so much gritty, but just it's sad. Mm-hmm. It's so sad.
Kind of like a Grave of the Fireflies.
Yeah.
Studio Ghibli. Yeah.
It's it's great though. Adult animation just doesn't end with comedy.
It doesn't, and I think like there is, and it's almost like at that point I don't even want to call it adult animation. It's just animation, right? Like it's like
it's an animated picture.
Yeah, it's an animated thing. Like Loving Vincent, where every frame was hand painted.
Yeah,
but it was like rotoscoped. Which is really cool. Yeah, I think, and that guy is gonna make another movie like that.
Sweet.
He's gonna make another movie that's hand painted like that, which I was like, sick.
I think Pixar's shorts are. I would say that they're adult oriented.
Yeah, I would say that most Pixar films.
Yeah.
And even more modern Disney ones, with a lot of exceptions, but they do deal with more mature themes, and they're more or even like the main characters are adults, they're not kids. I mean, is there even a Pixar movie that's about like specifically about a kid? Maybe like The Good Dinosaur, he's a kid. Inside Out, but really. Joy isn't like she's like an ethereal being, right? Like
Up, it's Russell and
it's Carl. I mean, Carl's like the lead
character. Yeah, there's no main character. That are kids.
I guess just Merida in Brave is like she's about to get betrothed
Yeah.
So I mean, she's not a child, but she's not an adult. She's like a teenager. Yeah. So that's like the closest we get, right?
Yeah.
Because Lightning McQueen's an adult, whatever that means. So yeah, I mean, I would argue that Pixar makes movies for people. Miguel in Coco.
Oh yeah.
There we go. I'm sure someone was screaming while listening to us, like,
like,
it was Coco,
Miguel. We're probably not even thinking right now.
I know. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't think of Miguel.
Brain fart.
But yeah, I mean, that was the thing I was going to say. If you look at on Disney Plus, Pixar has a series of animated shorts that they've released, and Disney has a series of animated shorts they've released, and they have done a lot of like cool experimental stuff with the animation, and it doesn't look like a Pixar movie. It doesn't look like a Disney movie. They look different and cool and interesting.
Even Iron Giant, I would go as far as saying that's a people movie.
Yeah,
that's not just.
And that's
kids.
Warner Brothers. But it's Brad Bird who would go on to do Incredibles and Ratatouille. Love that guy. Yeah. I remember this is like a total not. This is like a non sequitur, but it's about Brad Bird. Yeah. I remember I was reading it. I kept seeing a bunch of comments of people like saying, "Oh, he follows like an Ayn Rand point of view," and I was like, what? "No, don't ruin Brad Bird for me." I was like sad.
Yeah, I was like, "No."
And then like one day he retweeted.
I hate Ayn Rand.
One day he retweeted somebody who was like, "How do you feel about the Ayn Rand?" criticism or whatever, and he goes, "I always felt like that was really shallow criticism." And I was like, okay, all right, so it's not, it wasn't like I wasn't wrong for liking Brad Bird. Friend of the pod, Brad Bird, future friend of the pod. There's a lot of cool stuff they're doing. I really do think that Into the Spider-Verse changed the game visually. I think Sony Animation
for movies, especially.
Yeah, for movies especially. Because there's some cool stuff going on in television animation, but I can't think of anything right
now. One of the recent ones that I got a treatment from live action is Lower Decks on CBS All Access. It's the animated Star Trek.
Oh yeah,
and it's not bad. Yeah. I've been watching it. I'm a few episodes behind, but I really really like it. It's a cool, different perspective of Star Trek crew members. And I hear that the X-Files is getting that treatment.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I read about that.
Yeah, which is really cool. I'm really excited for that.
Have you seen F is for Family?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So that's
I saw the first season of it.
Yeah, that one's great.
Loved it.
It's so good.
Yeah, you're the one that got me to watch it. Yeah. I was just scrolling one day. I was like, I guess I'll watch this. Me and Max ended up loving it.
F is for Family is great. I think there are things about it that are kind of ugly that fall into that category of like, it's for adults, so it's ugly.
Yeah.
But overall, I love the 70s aesthetic. There aren't a lot of shows right now that do that. A lot of shows are like very 80s oriented if they take place in the recent past. Which is cool. I love the 80s
right now.
I love the 80s. Yeah. I'll have 80s fever till I die.
Yeah.
But the 70s I also really like aesthetically. Man. And so to have an animated show take place in the 70s, there's a lot. The visual elements in that show, some of them are kind of ugly. Like some of the character designs, I'm like, oh god, that's like, I'm like, ugh, I don't want to look at that character. But
it's one of the things that ends
overall,
up working,
it has a solid aesthetic that I really enjoy that sets it apart from, if it didn't take place in the 70s, I would say it's like bland, like Family Guy visually, like not necessarily ugly, like Big Mouth or something. Like it's just like kind of bland looking. Yeah. But because that 70s like sepia, orange kind of aesthetic,
traditional animated family sitcom.
Like that whole thing, it all comes together really well.
Yeah.
Like especially because a lot of the topics they're handling are of the time.
Yeah.
So again, it's that Archer thing where like the context is key in that show. Where like, Bill Burr's character is like kind of misogynistic. He's kind of like,
and then they highlight why.
Yeah.
It's all context.
Yeah,
it's all contextual.
And it's not to say that you should. It's one of those problems with adult animation. That's why I think the Rick and Morty thing like kind of exploded into this other thing because
people like to look up to characters.
Yeah, and you can't. I think the problem with Rick and Morty is they always make Rick
the hero.
Correct. Yeah. And so you want to be like Rick, whether consciously or not. Yeah. So it's like he's this horrible, awful person who has almost no redeeming qualities, and he's the hero. And it's kind of like I don't know if I don't know if that's like that shouldn't be something you look up to. You know, like people shouldn't want to be like that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's tough. You know, because it's I like to watch all these shows. You know, knowing that I'm laughing at the things the main character is saying, even if it's kind of like not okay, because I'm laughing at it through this context of like, oh God, how horrible is it, you know, to be in that situation or whatever.
And I don't want to say that, you know, stuff like that should be just for adults, because, you know, I grew up watching all the Adult Swim stuff, all the Cartoon Network stuff, all the MTV stuff, all the Liquid Television. So, you know, it just comes down to context. Yeah. Because I didn't watch.
I think so. I think you also need to, to some degree, there is some contextualizing you have to do yourself.
Of course.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I'm not going to say it's all on these shows, but I also think that.
It's on the person.
Yeah. But I also think that for these shows to just sit back and say, like, well, you know, if you don't like it, don't let your kids watch it. Yeah. That's kind of a lazy, like, argument. Like you should also somehow
be able to work around that.
You should be able to somehow in your show say like, maybe this guy's not the best. Yeah. You know? I mean, and it's a television show. It's not a movie. You are afforded hours of, you know, story to delve into those moments of like, maybe this character isn't a great guy, and maybe, you know, you shouldn't look up to him, or maybe like this character. And it's tough. I understand why that's tough, because a lot of these shows, they're comedies, and in a comedy animation, you kind of you don't serialize it. It's all episodic. So there's always a status quo that has to get reverted back to at the beginning of every episode. But there are shows like F is for Family that is serialized. Yeah. That, like, you know, the characters kind of grow. Right. It's very gradual, but they grow. They you know, or it's like shown that their point of view is bad. Like that, like they're not a good. Yeah. The thing that they said is not good. And I don't know where the
Rick and Morty fan base spun so far out of control, because it's very underlined that Rick is a piece of shit.
Well, it's like he's not happy.
Yeah, he's
like,
not a happy person. He's a very sad drunk. Yeah. He's such a nihilistic douchebag.
Yeah, and I think like even Dan Harmon talked about it in an interview where he was like, you know, people, you look at Jerry and he might seem like an idiot, but he's happy.
Like, he's like the only reasonably, you know,
even when things are bad for him, he might be kind of pathetic, but at least he's like he's enjoying his time, and like he can find a way to enjoy himself. Rick, on the other hand, is
never happy.
Not happy. Yeah. And it's like it goes back to that question at the beginning where it's like, if you can make everyone smarter than you, like you stay the same intelligence and everyone becomes smarter than you, or you make everyone dumber than you. Yeah. I would rather be the dumbest person on the planet at my intelligence, because it's like everyone, like the smartest people would only get smarter. People, you know, like I don't need to be the smartest person on the planet. Yeah. You know, there are problems that I don't need to solve. You know,
and then you would just be in pain,
like Rick. Yeah, exactly. I just don't understand why he's someone to look up to. Yeah, it's not.
He's just a total. I not that I dislike Rick and Morty. I like watching it.
I like Rick and Morty. I love it. I have the first 2 seasons on Blu-ray.
Great series, and it's gotten better. The last season, it kind of bums me out that they have to be going out of their way to be like, hey guys, Rick's a bad person. Don't look up to him.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, you know, I appreciate that. I would love for them to just take an episode, or like if there's a Rick and Morty finale at some point in the horizon, like just end it with a movie.
50 episodes later.
Yeah, where it's just like, by the way, you know, Rick is horrible. Yeah. Like he's not a good person, and he's miserable. So, you know, if that tells you anything, it means that being like Rick, no one will like you, and you will be miserable. You know, and it, like, that seems to be the point I get. Yeah. But I can see why other people would be like, oh well, you know, I want to be like Rick because he's smart and cool. Which, like, he is, and that's the problem.
We're on the understanding side of the family.
Crap. Yeah. Well, it looks like we're out of time. There are so many shows that we could talk about.
Oh man.
That
one thing I do want to mention real quick is the Clerks cartoon.
Oh yes, the Clerks cartoon. Yeah.
I just got that on DVD.
Oh nice.
A few days ago. Finally, it's so hard to find.
Yeah.
And I only got 6 episodes. And today it's reveled as one of the best cartoons that was cut too soon.
It's very similar to the Napoleon Dynamite cartoon, except people didn't like that one as much. Like it didn't get a cult following like the Clerks.
But Kevin Smith said recently that he was interested in Hulu hopefully bringing it back.
Yeah.
God, fingers crossed.
Well, I'm glad Harvey... what's his name?
Dewstein
doesn't own the rights to that. That's a great but horrible, tragic story. About Dogma.
Yeah.
I'll have to tell that another time.
We'll have a Kevin Smith episode.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll go. I'll be the only person going to bat for
Dogma.
Jersey Girl.
Oh, that's what I was telling Max yesterday. I was like, Skyler's the only guy in the world that likes Jersey Girl. Stupid Jersey Girl.
I don't get it, man.
No, it's not bad.
It's a sweet little movie.
It's really sweet.
It's a sweet family movie.
Yeah.
You know, kind of about his dad. Like I
guess I was just an angry, angsty teenager.
But a lot of people don't like Jersey Girl. But I think a lot of Kevin Smith fans don't like Jersey Girl. I think that's what it is. He made his brand this like stoner raunchy,
loudmouth,
goofy, wacky goons. Thing. Yeah. And there were elements of that in Jersey Girl, but it's very much a sweet movie about a father and a daughter, and a father and his relationship with his father.
Kevin Smith is like the epitome of Gen X movie makers.
A little bit, yeah. So I mean,
love Kevin Smith, man.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Great dude. He's doing a Howard the Duck cartoon.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
Wrap things up. So.
Yeah. Tie it back together. Man, we covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah. That was a fun episode.
Good stuff, man. Absolutely. Yeah, really good. Well, we really, really, really appreciate everybody listening.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming. If you want to support the show... if you want to support the show, you can head on over to patreon.com /Truman Pictures. We have multiple tiers, multiple things for you to enjoy if you become a patron. We're going to be doing behind the scenes content. We'll be doing live streams and viewer requests with Q&As and stuff like that. A bunch of cool things for you to enjoy if you become a patron. So we don't have any yet, so maybe you'll be the first one. Hey. Who knows? Or maybe we'll have one by the time this episode comes out 2 weeks from now. So, well, actually, it'll be like a week from now. But anyway.
Something like that.
Anyway, you can support us on Patreon. Check out our website at trumanpictures.com. Yeah. And follow us all over social media. Virtually every social media platform we're on, we are Truman Pictures.
Do we have a question of the week?
Do we have a question of the week?
What are your favorite adult animation?
Yeah, what?
Not nothing like that porn stuff, though.
Yeah, no. I don't want to hear any, Boku no Pico.
Don't make us Google some weird shit, damn it.
And also, if you don't know what Boku no Pico is, do not.
I'm not going to go Google it.
Don't look it up. And if someone suggests it to you, like sincerely, either they're messing with you or you probably shouldn't talk to that person anymore. But yeah, what were some of your favorite, or what are some of your favorite
anime movies?
Anything that's a little more adult oriented.
I always like the Idiot Adventures of Photon as well.
Oh yeah,
as far as anime goes, it's one of my favorites.
A newer anime that's really good. I haven't finished it yet. It's only like 12 episodes though, but Mia suggested it to me. It's the one that she wanted you to watch too.
Oh yeah,
is Dorohedoro.
Okay,
it's a Netflix original, and that one's really cool. It's got this like I was telling you about it. It's got this like 90s kind of grunge looking aesthetic. Yeah. But it's kind of like We're the Kids, where it's CG. It's like computer animated, but designed to look like 2D. Yeah. And then some stuff is 2D animated too, though. It's really cool. It's about a guy who like a sorcerer turned his head into like a lizard head.
Oh yeah, I've seen it scrolling.
Yeah. And so he's trying to figure out who it was. Okay. Meanwhile, there are some bounty hunters from the sorcerer world who are trying to find him and kill him.
I'm gonna check that one out.
And it's great, man. It's really funny, and it's got a good dub too.
Cool.
So check that out. But yeah, it's the question of the week. What's your favorite adult-oriented piece of animation?
Comedy, action, horror, anime.
Yeah, I would love to see some animated
stuff outside
horror.
Of comedy. Yeah,
because there's some crazy.
Yeah, Vampire Hunter D was always a good like Blood, the Last Vampire.
I can't wait for the Adult Swim Junji Ito adaptations.
Yeah.
Those are gonna be crazy.
Oh, some good stuff out
They
there.
they tried to adapt his work before,
Yeah.
not Adult Swim, but another company tried to adapt his work before, and apparently it's no good. So
I'm looking forward to people's responses on this.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I guess since we aren't gonna respond to any viewer questions until after this episode.
Unfortunately.
Also, any of your favorite action-oriented martial arts kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That too.
Give us a lot of questions for
just
the following
give us
episode.
tell us stories.
We love hearing
that's
from
what
y'all.
we want to hear. Otherwise, you're gonna get another installment of cool
internet shit. I was gonna call internet cool shit.
We'll figure it out. We'll get a really good title. We'll have like a graphic on screen and stuff.
I can't wait to have
YouTube
videos
version.
so we can have like.
Yeah,
video
cool
casts.
internet shit. We point at the
Pointing
camera and
title cards.
like spins into place. Yeah, like a whip sound effect.
That's gonna be a lot of fun. We need a soundboard.
We do. Yeah,
Let's start working.
we'll get one. Yeah,
I'm learning Fruity Loops.
Join.
So.
Add us on Patreon, and we'll be able to afford a soundboard.
Yeah, we could buy a launch pad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. All right. Well,
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, that's it for this week.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming by. And we will see you guys next time inside of
The Video Vault. Ooh.